So now we're going to have Kyler Ford, who is with Trucker Tools, and we're going to welcome him aboard, and we'll see if we can keep the same process moving. Welcome, Kyler.
That's just because you're from upstate New York. You don't like the tuna as much, right?
No, I don't.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Hope everyone had a safe trip to Phoenix. It's great to see so many familiar faces, friends of the industry, customers, vendor partners, and great job, Richie there from Tive. Excited to revisit a lot of the things that we've been doing at Trucker Tools, some of the ways that we've been innovating. I know you mentioned earlier today about the new shiny things, but I think there's a lot of folks here that also need to take some time and catch up on some existing technologies that continue to evolve, both at Trucker Tools and other folks here today. So I'm excited to dive in. So I'm Kyler Ford, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer. I get the opportunity every day to work with customers all over the country and all over North America to really help solve the problems relevant to the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. The big thing that we're going to talk today about is a term that gets thrown around, I think, a lot, and people have different definitions of it in our industry, which is carrier relationship management, which at the core is what Trucker Tools does. And I think where I see people miss the mark a lot is that they think it's kind of a one-stop solution, that there's one single solution out there that makes up what you should define as a carrier relationship management tool. And at Trucker Tools, we think about it a little differently, and it's probably because we've got several components in our system that support that. Within that, what we try and do is we help you guys meet new carriers. We try to strengthen existing relationships, and at the end of it, we cover and track those shipments in real time to tell you where they are, when they arrive, and all those great things. So supported by really 6 pieces of our platform. We have a broker advantage component to our platform, which is a white label load board, which is dedicated to you guys specifically, so your folks can come back directly and book loads with you. We obviously enforce digital bookings and enable that for drivers through an easy-to-use mobile application. So at their fingertips at any given time, they can go on and see what's available, what meets their marks, and book that very seamlessly. We have visibility, which I know Richie talked about, is thrown around a lot in our space, but really true track and trace through mobile application as well as ELD integration, which at the end of the day is, I think, has become more of a commodity in our space, but I think more and more today in your field, you guys are seeing it as more critical and expected by the folks that you work with. We have a loyalty program that we just launched with several folks, which again is another piece of this puzzle that is kind of tricky, I think, to figure out. And I know just from our experience, it takes more than just the thought and the idea and the motions to get it done. It takes a lot of collaboration with our customers, our internal IT team to really bring that to life and make it fruitful and worth your investment. DFM, digital freight matching, capacity tools, another term in the space that it gets tossed around. Each person has a different take on what that means, and I'll tell you a little bit about what ours does here shortly. And then what we've kind of made our way in as Trucker Tools is this lifestyle application for drivers on the road, which we provide seamless amounts of tools for them to do their job outside of what Trucker Tools provide on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to kick it off with a lot of what you guys are familiar with, which is our mobile application, the #1 downloaded trucking application in the industry. It's used by over 250,000 plus carriers, of which 80% of those are less than 5 trucks. And why that's important is because that's a market segment that's historically tough to reach and tough to get your hands wrapped around on a day-to-day basis when you need those types of folks to deliver your loads. And in the application, the reason why people don't delete it after they use it is because there's 20 plus tools for them to utilize. So on a day-to-day basis, they use Trucker Tools for digital freight matching. They might use it to find their next place they're going to park their truck. They're going to look for fuel prices. When fuel prices are up, it's really important that they're leveraging all the pieces that we have in our application to get the best fuel for them. I'm not going to tell you guys anything you don't know, but there's a couple of 3 challenges probably on a day-to-day basis, whether you're a digitally focused brokerage or a traditional brokerage or anyone in between that you guys are focusing on. You're dealing with multiple phone calls and emails, a lot of which is unavoidable. But at the end of the day, those are parts and nuances that you guys have to deal with. You don't know where capacity is at all times. You might have a good idea, but there's different types of markets that initiate reasons for you guys to look elsewhere. And then negotiations back and forth between drivers and carriers can be really time consuming. So in essence, a lot of these 3 things can make your folks that you're hiring and the people that you're empowering, the people that you love, as he mentioned, not be as superpowered as you want them to be. And at the end of the day, we want them focusing on the exceptions, the really hard to place freight, and making sure that they have the tools in their repertoire to do so really, really well. So kind of flipping it around, why Trucker Tools has been so successful and why folks are leveraging our digital freight matching as one tool to help them reduce those 3 pain points is, number one is we're all looking to reduce the cost to cover a load. So that's at any level, at any margin, at any given time. We're trying to make sure that we're doing it the best way possible. We want to automate as much of the carrier sourcing as possible. Again, automation in this space is thrown around a lot as if it's kind of a one-button push. We don't see it as that. But if we can augment and help automate a portion of your business, I think you'll see dramatic increases in change really quickly. We want to create a seamless digital experience. I think any of us that leverage our mobile applications to book hotels and book other things in our lives, we love it when it's really easy. We use it again and again when it's really easy. Drivers are no different, and neither are the folks that you employ. We want to make it a very seamless experience for each and every individual that interacts with the application. We obviously want to increase your margins, and we obviously want to eliminate the manual tasks that you guys have to use on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the day, they're not making you more money. So this is kind of how we stack up digital freight matching, kind of building from the bottom up. So we leverage historical data on lanes and preferences to match the best carriers with the best loads. This takes time, and the fact that we've been very fortunate enough to be around for so long, it's really helped us. We use market intelligence, real-time data through industry partners like Sonar, which we just recently announced, and we have digital automated offer negotiations through smart negotiations. And then within the trademark Book It Now, folks can go on and book the load in real time. I mentioned our Sonar integration. We are coupling that with our historical information to make sure that folks have a reference point when they're booking loads, and I encourage you guys to stop by our booth and see what this looks like in real time. And then within our smart negotiations platform, you're able to go back and forth and set your parameters based upon your preferences to go negotiate when you guys aren't in the office, when you're out at night, when you're on the weekends, so folks can book loads in real time. So I know 7 minutes isn't enough to cover all those different components, so I just encourage each of you to stop by the booth and see us, and I'll see you guys over there. Thank you.